So one of the things that we like to do in our household every Christmas is to watch the Mr. Bean episode, and if you haven't seen it, it's fantastic.
I have, yeah.
And there is this classic scene
Hmm.
where he plays around with the nativity set, and
Right, yeah.
anyway, I remember as a kid we had a nativity set, and
Hmm.
it was in we called it the living room,
Okay.
which when I was growing up was the room I wasn't allowed to go into when I was a kid. That was
You
like
can't,
this.
you can do everything but live in it,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
That was where all the good furniture was and
Right.
stuff, and you weren't allowed to go in there. And I would always bring my GI Joes and I'd put them in the nativity scene and my Lego guys, and I'd get in trouble. But let's talk about this: the wise men.
Right.
Okay, every nativity scene has some wise men,
Hmm.
but Dave, the wise men weren't there, were they?
They weren't, as a matter of fact. They were a long way off. And as you know, travel was not quick in those days, and they were not there that night. So one of the things we used to do on occasion was remove the wise men from our nativity scene and set them somewhere on the other end of the room, I guess. Not sure that what good that did, but that's what we would do.
We don't know exactly where they came from,
Right.
but there is evidence that they actually descended from the wise men that included Daniel
Hmm.
and the others
Right.
who were brought away from Israel during the Babylonian captivity, and that they actually came from that region and made their way towards Jerusalem when they read it in the stars. I mean, they were astronomers,
Hmm.
not astrologers, but they were astronomers. They did look to the night sky, and God used that as a way to direct them to Christ.
Wow.
And I think that we have to be careful not to downplay that. He really did. He used the stars,
Hmm.
and he allowed them to have the wisdom to know how to read the stars. And this particular star that it says that they followed it. I mean, obviously, we know that stars don't, move in that way or whatever
Hmm.
this was. This guided them to at least an area where they were able to inquire as to where the Messiah was.
Hmm.
I know that even again our nativity scenes they tend to have this star like just dangling right
Yes, this
over,
gleaming thing
yeah,
right
the
above.
stable.
Hmm.
Well, clearly we know he wasn't in the stable anymore.
Right.
He and his family were living in a home, and somehow the magi, the wise men, knew what town he was in, and remember they inquired of Herod
Right.
where he was. So
Right.
it's not like they knew just from the start. They had the general location, and then they did the research, and they were able to track him down.
Hmm.
And that's the right way to understand that. So
Okay.
um,
So we can all go fix our nativity sets now.
now we can.